Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, it is Monday night. As you already know, this is Cooler Talk Mondays with your boy, Six Man K Styles, and the great one, Mad Mike Sports. Rest in peace. And as we already know how, before we always get the show started, Mike, we got special 3 words that we always like to kick the show off with. And what are those 3 special words that we always kick the show off with?
With a little bit of real.
And today's roll call, we're going to kick it off here with Joseph Thornton, Floyd Donnelly. Looks like Alex Smith is not Alex Smith, but Alex Edwards, a.k.a. Young Alex, the scout. He is in the building. Y'all make sure y'all show him some love. Why? You must show him some love. We got Trump.
He know he gonna get him from me, so he get used to it, Alex. You should know that by now.
Right. And we got Trauma Locks in the building. We got Big Ant AFN affiliate. Y'all make sure y'all show him some love back there as well. We got another AFN guy, Marwin Johnson. Appreciate you joining in. Y'all make sure y'all continue to show these people some love here. We got Bubba Gump, Men the Master, Wallace Smith, Tony Wright, Michael Walker, not that Michael Walker, Ghost Peppers, Wheezy B. We got Lisa Shepard. We got ATM, John Higgins, Raymond Elder, A1 Colossal, Boomer the Falcon, Dre Murphy. And we going down in 3, 2, boom. What's going on, people, man? As you already see, the title of today's show is, if y'all haven't heard the news, like, we don't know how, as far as what's the update of what it is now, but the reports came out that Julio Jones, the Falcons' name came up as a destination for Julio Jones. Now, what? I find it kind of funny that this came up like this. I want to go ahead and let you kick off your thought on why the hell is this come up like this, because me personally, the way that it ended, even though we like Julio Jones, I'm not going to risk bringing him back. So, Mike, I'm going to let you go ahead and kick us off and kind of tell us what your thoughts on that is, man.
It's not gonna be as harsh as you're used to seeing from me. I don't see a need for it, to be honest, to be harsh on this situation. I'm gonna say this. I can see why Julio Jones would want to come back. Sometimes, Jew said this earlier, and so if you guys are, checking out his channel, this is something that he stated, and I think this signifies pretty much everyone's thoughts to a certain degree. Is the grass isn't always green on the other side. And sometimes you know, you look at yourself and say to yourself, you know, maybe I really messed up this situation. Um, but that's lightly putting it. I don't think Julio Jones made the right decision. I think he got ahead of himself, and rightfully so. He is one of the greatest wide receivers to ever do it in this game. So I can understand why he had that mentality. But there's always something that I always hold dear for myself is to remain humble. Even when things are going your way, and things have always gone your way, you don't always want to. It could be gone the next day. One day you number one. Julio Jones has been the number one receiver for 9, 10 years, and he took that for granted. Um, and like I said, rightfully so, he had that mentality where I know my worth, and sometimes players have to, kind of look at themselves and say, all right, maybe I should try to see what I can get out of this situation. And he gambled, and he made the wrong gamble. He lost. Sometimes you gamble on a situation knowing that you have certain power, and you make that move, and you end up looking like a damn fool. So, like I said, I don't blame him for making that situation, doing what he doing. The thing that soured me most out of that whole situation was how he treated his fans. I stand firm on that. The way he treated his fans was absolute horseshit. Um, there was no thank you. There was no appreciation. That was, for people buying your jersey, people supporting you still after you gone. You never said thank you to the fans. You just said, I'm out of here. So, like I said, I can understand why he's coming back, but um, I'm gonna let you be the bad guy today. You look like you ready to get, you look like you ready, you got something to say about this
Uh,
situation.
I wouldn't necessarily say this is kind of a bad guy moment here, but you have to look at the issue as far as, like I said, going back to what I said, shouts out to Miss Maggie T and Josh
Hmm.
Gilliam and Todd. Appreciate y'all joining here. Y'all make sure y'all show Maggie some love back there as well. Um, so we just gonna go back to how the departure near happened as far as not really giving this coaching staff a chance.
Hmm.
Let's we just gonna focus on that. I'm not gonna too much worry about okay, did he turn his back on the fans and how he hadn't been humbled about it and nothing. Let's just look at that aspect right there. You have to remember you have a new coaching staff who, when they took the job, kind of expected you to be one of the major leaders on that in that locker room. Because let's just be honest, when Arthur Smith took the job, when Terry Fontenot took the job, Julio Jones was one of the major locker room presence on the team. Now, we're just taking it from face value as far as what was presented to us. We don't know how the
Hmm.
stuff went behind hand, but it's
Hmm.
just the way that it was handled personally was kind of messy because it wasn't like, okay, it's been it's been brewing here for a while that Julio wanted to leave. And then it's like, okay, they did the deal behind the scenes. Nobody do. It was the public humiliation of the coaching staff that was put in place. It was the
Hmm.
humiliation of these guys because it's like, no, I'm out of there. I'm gone. Now, putting the dominoes in effect, Calvin Ridley's gone because Julio wasn't here.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I'm looking at it from Arthur Smith's point of view, if I'm like I said, I'm just looking at this from me. If I see that, okay, you never gave me a chance. I'm looking at as Terry Fontenot. If you never gave me a chance, why the fuck do I want you? Like,
Mm-hmm.
like you could be as great of a person, you could be as great of a player as you are. And like I said, we just use this as an example of how we do in life around here. Like we always show love to people that got our backs or the people that show that, okay, I believe in you. But if you show me from the get-go, like, nah, I don't believe in anything you got going on here, I'm out. So fuck what I want you back. Nah, man. Like you said, when we've heard the thing about rebuilds and how everybody wants to rebuild,
Mm-hmm.
this was part of the rebuild. You had to get rid of Julio. You had to get rid of Matt Ryan. This is how you start all over. Is it really a rebuild if you bring it back a guy that wanted nothing to do with your program in the first place? No. That's like that. I'm about to say that's like you got dumped. You got dumped by the baddest of bad females in high school, and then coming back 5 years later, she got C-section
Uh-huh.
scars, 2 kids, bullet wounds. Um, she went
Mm-hmm.
she went from a size 6 to a size 18. Like, nah, bro, nah, we are good.
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, what was you about to say, man?
This situation seems like a he say, she say, how it started. Like
All right.
I'll just use myself as as a part of this story. Um, People just assume that you have a name like Mad Mike,
Mhm.
that you always angry all the time. Just as soon as you hear Mad Mike, yeah, he crazy. Yeah, he all he does is yell and scream, and he's always mad. He's always angry. You know you know how they look at a lot of black people. They just keep it real. They just look at black people. Yeah, he's already he don't know how to act. He doesn't have proper manners, and they just immediately assume that you can't be professional. And this is what that signified me with Julio Jones when he got the. Um, I'm just keep it real. A lot of people look at Arthur Smith just like I heard he was a hard ass, but he's a no nonsense guy. I'm out of here. He didn't even get a guy a chance to prove that he was a good coach. But you're going to go to a guy and um I would tell you what's Mike Vrabel. Like you're
Mhm.
gonna go to Mike Vrabel and play for Mike Vrabel when he literally stole the playbook of Dean Pease. He stole the entire. Let me tell you. Let me. This is where it gets really crazy. Not only did he steal Dean Pease and playbook, but the offense that he runs was built by Arthur Smith. So not only are you going to the team, but you're going to the exact same team that ultimately here in and out. Now that leaves this question: was it really about Arthur Smith, or was it the fact that you're going to rebuild? Well, I think it was silly for him to make that decision to begin with to go to ask for a trade and ultimately ask to go to Tennessee. Um, it's a matter of do you really want to rebuild? And he of all people should know that um, you're literally one injury away from not even being a contender. Nothing in this league is guaranteed. So for him to feel like he can go to another team and automatically win is just idiotic on his part. We have so many players. Not everybody gonna have a winning situation like Tom Brady. And then even when you are Tom Brady, there's no guarantee you're gonna get the player that you're gonna get. So you're not a Tom Brady. You're not even, you don't even wield the power that a Drew Brees has, and you decide to just, you know, tuck your tail and run. So like I think, like I said, he got way ahead of himself. He thought he was more powerful and had held more weight in the NFL than he did, and he ended up looking like a dumbass.
Hmm. We're gonna get in a few of these comments here because I've seen some comments
I
here
see
that are
some,
very,
yeah,
are very intriguing here. But I want to kick it off with this one here. This is from Joseph. He said that he believed it was a Matt Ryan problem with Julio Jones. He said my barber used to cut his hair and said he wanted to play with another quarterback. See, the only thing that I would say about that is if he wanted to play with another quarterback, wouldn't you want to play with somebody that is actually elevates that you believe can elevate to a higher level? You went from Matt Ryan to Ryan Tannehill. That was a downgrade. If you thought somebody was better, you would want to go better. I don't think it was so much of a Matt Ryan issue as most people would probably say. Like I said, it was more so of a culture issue as far as what was used to being done to what it was going then and there. Like I said, you look at these practices going on with the Atlanta Falcons right now, and the energy is way different than what it was the past 6 years. It's not as stoic. They having a little bit of fun, but no, these cats is out here energetic. They ready to bust heads. They ready to roll. They going at 100 miles an hour. So,
my thing is, why would Julio tell a barber what he's gonna do?
mm-hmm.
Why would he tell a barber something about Matt Ryan that he don't like Matt Ryan? What's in it to that barber? Is this barber um Terrell Owens? Is this barber, you know, Aaron Rodgers or somebody? Like, why would he tell a barber like that? Look, I'm not
Uh,
calling you a liar, but that's a lot of stuff that's out there. I heard that he wanted to play with Cam Newton. People said he wanted to leave and play with Cam Newton. Nothing came of that. Like, people put all these rumors out here. I'm not
mm-hmm.
going to be talking about no damn rumors.
Right.
Again, I'm not saying you're a liar, but I do know a lot of people had a lot of stuff out there that said he
Mm-hmm.
wanted to play with New England. There was a rumor that he wanted to play with New England. But at the end of the day, I think it came down to this, and it's one of the two things for me is that he didn't want to go through another head coach, which I don't think that's likely because you were leaving anyway, so you're gonna end up playing for a new coach because you asked out. But I
Mm-hmm.
think more so is that this guy just didn't want to work. I mean, all the signs says he just didn't want to work. He just didn't want to work because if you asking for a trade, obviously you gonna get a new head coach regardless.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you stay, you getting a new coach. If you leave, you getting a new coach. So I don't think that was the issue. I think when it comes down, when you look at everything, um, you know, all things together at this
Right.
point, you just got to say one thing. He got shook. Like Look, they gave that man everything he wanted. Dan Quinn let that man get away with everything. He didn't have to practice hard. He practiced. He had to practice 1 day a week, really, and that's just keeping it real. We heard several stories where reporters said that Julio Jones is not doing anything at practice. So, like at the end of the day, I don't think it had nothing to do with Matt Ryan or whether he wanted a new coach. I think Julio knew that his body was breaking down. One or two, he just didn't want to fucking work hard.
I mean, you do watch a lot of his practices. Like I say, he's teaching a lot of the young guys, the young wide receivers, and we commended him for that. But if you watch a lot of the practices, he was kind of on the sidelines, just
Mm-hmm.
looking and talking most of the time.
Mm-hmm.
Now, could the injuries may have played a part in why he wasn't practicing that often? That could be a point. But in reality, where the practices come down to is with the rapport. And this is a crazy thing that I will say too. And if you kind of look at the Falcons tenure, the Julio Matt Ryan connection here in Atlanta, as much yardage and as much chemistry they had on the field, they had lack of chemistry on the field as well. If you really pay close attention to it, and we're talking about lack of communication, lack of rapport on those critical. No, I can't use that damn word because yeah, y'all, some of
Mm-hmm.
y'all done made me damn near ban the word critical. But on those third downs, those plays that you needed, where you saw Julio not on the field, or you may have seen a few that he was on the field and it looked like the rhythm was off. That's where those practices come in at because them like I'm gonna use an example. I'm gonna use Peyton Manning for example. Why do you think him, Marvin Harrison, him, Reggie Wayne was always deadly on third down?
Mm-hmm.
They run that outside hitch route with their eyes closed and boom, always picking up good yards. I throw Kurt Warner here. Look at him with Torrey Holt, Isaac Bruce, Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, Wes Welker, Patrick Mahomes, Tyreek Hill. Like these guys have that chemistry where, okay, when you need it, it's there. You see it. But like I said, when it came to Matt Ryan and Julio, they had chemistry, but they didn't have chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of weird to say that. And Maggie here made a good point. She said Julio wanted the easy road to the Super Bowl, fell in the hype of the Titans vouching for him,
Mm-hmm.
which is kind of crazy, is because out of all the Titans that vouched for him, Derrick Henry is the only one left.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. Ryan Tannehill,
Oh,
they about to boot him out of Tennessee here real soon. AJ Brown is gone. That was the man. That was the man one busting that open for him to get to Tennessee.
right.
So, like you said, just go back to what you said. The grass is not always green on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And Lisa here, she said Arthur Blank reached out to Julio and became public. He wanted out, but Julio wasn't taking his calls. Yeah, that's that. That's another thing. You don't. You cannot burn those bridges like that because what happens is you're not thinking of your thing when you're thinking about the now. Everybody else is thinking of the potential to be.
You know what? I just thought about something too. It brings me back to basketball.
Mm-hmm.
We see a lot of these players just think it's so easy to just, call up their friends and we're gonna make a big three. And football players think they can do the same thing, and it doesn't work like that. You actually have to work hard, and this is why I laugh at people when they say Um, like Golden State, you know, even with when they had Kevin Durant, it was like, oh, you just had some of the greatest players. No, you still actually have to work hard to win championships. It's like to even get to that point, you have to work hard. You have to be, you know, in every aspect. You got to learn that chemistry. Had those guys like we've seen several times just this past year with the Lakers. The Lakers didn't have no chemistry, but they had three. You know, they had three very good players: Westbrook, LeBron, AD, and those guys have absolutely no chemistry. And then you look at the Tennessee Titans. They had a big three of themselves, big four of you, however you want to say it, including the defensive players. So at the end of the day, we gotta stop assuming that because you got great players, you're gonna be a great team. It just doesn't work. We go back to the Philadelphia Eagles. So many teams have had great players, but they lack chemistry.
Right. Oh, I got a perfect example for y'all too, right here and there. And y'all probably gonna be surprised that I'm gonna use this example. You ready for this, Mike?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
We're gonna look at the 2018 Atlanta United Soccer Club.
Mm.
When Atlanta United won the MLS Cup that year, that
Mm-hmm.
was the one thing that they had in their back pocket was chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
These guys wanted to play with each other. These guys was in a system with
Mm-hmm.
Tata Martino that
Mm-hmm.
accentuated what they wanted to do, which was
Mm-hmm.
play fast, score more than you, bring more people forward than you can damn defend.
Mm-hmm.
And
They
everybody,
flood a lot of zones, boy.
and,
They flood the hell out of zones.
everybody was just fun. Everybody was just a cohesive unit, and that's why you had at a point in time where Joseph Martinez was on pace. He had the fastest pace to 100 goals than any other
Mm-hmm.
forward in MLS history.
Mm-hmm.
This is why you had a Miguel Almiron, who
Oh
from
man,
that championship team ended up
he was my favorite. Even my favorite player.
getting a contract to go play at Newcastle United over in the English Premier League, which led to him making a lot more money and fulfilling a dream. And then what ended up happening? You brought in Frank De Boer, who was the complete opposite of what these players wanted to do. They still made the playoffs that year, but you could tell that the chemistry was off because it was like nobody really fit in with what they want to do. So
Mm-hmm.
this is why Atlanta United has kind of been trending down here the last couple years, is because
Mm-hmm.
now they're trying to find pieces. They're trying to find the
Into it.
spark.
Mm-hmm.
Joseph Martinez can't stay healthy right now. You ain't got like literally Joseph Martinez. Let's just think about from 2018 to right now, in 2022. You only got three players left from that championship team, and that's
Mm-hmm.
Brad Gazan, Joseph Martinez, and Miles Robinson. And Miles Robinson
Mm-hmm.
can't stay healthy right now either.
It's a lot on that, like that. It's a lot
Mm,
on like that. They can't stay healthy, and this is what we mean about have like chemistry means everything. Like chemistry means everything when it comes down to like sports.
right.
This is one of the reasons why the Braves are playing so well. Is also like
Mm-hmm,
they're playing amazing. Like I didn't think they would be able to keep it up
mm-hmm,
without a Freddie Freeman. I'm just keep it real. I love Freddie, but I didn't think this team would be as dangerous, if not more dangerous
mm-hmm,
than they are. Like these guys are like on a 25-9 pace, something crazy like that. Like
mm-hmm.
they don't want like 20 something games,
Right.
but because of chemistry. These guys, and this was out Ozzy. This is without um, Freddie Freeman, and
Mm-hmm,
Ronald Acuna has been in and out of the lineup. You know, coming back from that torn ACL. So chemistry means everything. If you don't like, if you're not buying into the system, that's one thing I do say about these Braves. They're buying into the system. That's exactly what Kevin was talking about with Atlanta United. You gotta have players that buys into the system. If you're not buying into the system, these guys can't play to the maximum effect. And it's one of the reasons why we look at the drafts for the NFL for the Falcons. We're gonna bring it home a little bit, but this is why we talk about why we said you and I have been saying from the very beginning. Do not be surprised if the Falcons take Drake London. Why? Because he fits into the scheme. Guys who fits into the scheme are they're gonna buy into it. Why you think a guy like on Ibikite was one of the first defenders that they took? Not only did they draft him, but they traded up to get him. Why? Because he fits into the scheme. Everything fits into the scheme. Everybody has to buy into that scheme. You don't buy into the scheme, your team is no good.
Mm-hmm. And shouts out to J Rock, man. Appreciate him tuning in.
Wow.
Y'all show. He's one of the backbones of what a lot of us do over here as well. Y'all make sure y'all show him some love, definitely. Um, Billy Power Master said, I heard Jones is back to the Falcons. I also heard he's already on injured reserve.
You know them. You know. You know them Joes gonna be coming.
And then, as you said, with the Braves too, man, and um, yeah, and then, like you said, that's one of the things that brought him on that run to that World Series last year. It was all locker room based. Like you said,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't the greatest team assembled, especially after Acuna was out. But
Mm-hmm.
the that's, that's the one thing when you know when you enjoy doing something with teammates,
Mm-hmm.
when you enjoy it, it brings out a different level
Mm-hmm.
of how you play the game. This goes with all sports.
Mm-hmm.
But hold on. I saw another comment in here too. Hold on, where was it? Where was it? Yeah, that's what Joseph said here. Said that's why Matt were practicing before the game. No chemistry. The media made it like it was a good thing to see two vets doing the thing. See, the thing is, there's nothing wrong with practicing before the game, but that's only if you're trying to get the little nuances out the way of the game plan. But when you're literally full blown practicing before a game,
Mm-hmm.
that shows you that the mentality wasn't there for neither one of those two to really succeed together. Yes, they put the numbers together just off of pure talent itself. But this is why you saw Julio's production dip when it came when he got around that red zone. Now we can say yes, the coverage starts rolling over him a certain way. But Mike, I got a question to say when I made that point right there, and I never addressed this before, and I'm finna address it right now. Do you remember that conversation on that show we had that was going on in the chat where we were talking about why we was kind of over picking on Julio because of the road coverage and stuff? Do you remember
Hmm.
that?
I
Didn't that
think
didn't that didn't that conversation sound familiar, don't it?
that we were say that again.
Okay, so if I'm finna do a recap
Mhm.
rebreak. Okay, so we talked about Julio Jones, and we basically the conversation was like Julio Jones wasn't shit in the red zone.
Okay. Oh, I think I know where you're going with it.
Yeah, and you had some folks was kind of getting in their feelings about, well, y'all shouldn't say this, man. He had the double coverage his way. They was rolling coverage.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Ryan wasn't good in the red zone. Doesn't that conversation sound a little bit familiar?
Oh yeah,
It's
it does.
almost because the
It does.
response that they gave was essentially the same response we give people when we talk about Deion Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying, man. Like you said,
They gotta.
like I said, like you can throw the whole story in there when speaking about certain situations, but don't pick and choose when to do it though.
That's my biggest issue. That's my biggest issue.
Mm-hmm.
You say that Julio didn't have this, or this guy wasn't doing, or Matt Ryan couldn't get the ball to him. But when we make that same argument for a guy like Dion, y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all just want to say he sucks, like he can't make critical tackles. There's that word again. There's that word.
They got that word again, bro.
And see, like I said, that's the issue that I have. You can't, you know, pick and choose when because you like a guy when it matters. At the end of the day, like uh, uh, nobody put Kyle Pitts down because he only had one touchdown. Y'all gave him, you know, y'all gave him exactly what he look. It's his rookie year.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you look for. But when it comes down to certain players you don't like, it's all Matt Ryan's fault, and Deion Jones is not as good as he wants to. Deion Jones isn't as good as you know he once was. What if what he once was is never obtainable? Does that make him any less of a player? Or does that make, let me rephrase that. Does that mean that does make he's not a valuable player? Or does that mean that he was playing at a level that people don't necessarily respect? Like Deion Jones is on a pace was on a pace to break an NFL record with the most interceptions. I think he's already at that. And I'm talking about in the history of the game. No linebacker has had more interceptions and pick sixes than Deion Jones. He's already done that, and I don't even think he's halfway through his career.
Yeah, I think, yeah, I say he probably got about another good 3, 4 years left.
Mm-hmm.
Staying healthy, he got
Just staying healthy, right?
about a good 3 or 4 hit. Yeah, but like I said, it essentially goes back to what we're saying. If you want to situate the players, your playmakers, put the pieces around them to allow the playmakers to do their job.
Mm-hmm.
If you felt like Julio wasn't getting enough touchdowns, like we had that with a Muhammad Sanu, Taylor Gabriel, Austin Hooper, Tevin Coleman, Devontae Freeman, to where it didn't look so bad. But once they started picking them boys, they started tearing that shit down player by player like that. It became more detrimental to a Julio Jones and Matt Ryan than what was previously led on, because you
Mm-hmm.
had a bunch of guys that fit each other well. I might get beat up for saying this, but we're gonna really find out how good Patrick Mahomes really is this year.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, he has Travis Kelce, and that's a damn good security blanket to have there too. But you got the you but outside of that security blanket right there, Tyreek Hill was a major security blanket for Patrick Mahomes too.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about Grady Jarrett and how Grady Jarrett's sack numbers have went down since 2000, I'd say about 2018.
18, yeah. Yeah,
Look at
18.
the players that's been around them. It hadn't situated shit.
Mm-hmm.
You had
Yeah.
Tyler Davidson. Tat didn't do shit. Allen Bailey ain't did nothing. Steven Means, we already know it. Kung Fu Panda, we already know. Yes. I
And
think
you
our
want to know how the numbers ain't in this league.
right. See, we kind of well, I think us as fans, I think where our issue is as fans is we kind of we look at a certain player. We're basing our expectations off of our players based on a certain player of that position. See, when
Mm-hmm.
we look at Aaron Donald and look at the career that he's having,
Mm-hmm.
if our defensive lineman ain't having that kind of year, he sucks.
Yep.
Or if we looking at such and such, I'm gonna say Foyer. See, Foyer had the tackles, he had the turnovers, but when we look at Debo and he didn't have as many of those, oh, Debo sucks.
Mm-hmm. Would they be even saying that? That's a question that I pose to the people right now. Would you even be saying that Deion Jones isn't Deion Jones had he had the exact same numbers as Fourier? Because he pretty much did have the
Right.
exact same numbers. So would you guys, if it was Deion with 200 tackles,
Mm-hmm.
and remember, Deion had more solo tackles. He had more solo tackles, and he had more um,
Mm-hmm.
tackles for losses. So would those statements saying that Deion Jones isn't Deion Jones anymore, would you guys be saying that had that been Fourier
Right.
who had the same year? That because I'm gonna say this right now. If those roles were reversed, nobody be trying to kick Fourier out. You'd be saying, "Damn, Fourier had a good year." If you had the same numbers as Deion Jones, and the narrative would be, "Well, damn, Deion Jones doing Deion Jones things." But since it's Deion Jones who didn't have a Deion Jones year, everybody's saying Deion Jones need to go. Because
Mm-hmm.
again, like I said, if it were Deion Jones who had Deion Jones 48 numbers, nobody would say Deion. Nobody be trying to get rid of him. Nobody.
Look. I was about to say it like this. It's two different mindsets when we come from
Mm-hmm.
the. Okay, so like I said, we're gonna get to the next topic here in a few minutes. Well, our final topic for the
Mm-hmm.
night in a few minutes. But I'm gonna just say it like this. And Colin Green, you ain't shit for this. Yeah,
I saw that. I
yeah.
saw that.
I like okay, yeah, Says hey, yeah, that mean y'all better watch y'all damn backs around me then, cause motherfucker, I be in this. Hey, how you doing, buddy? Oh, y'all didn't see that happen, did you? But no, but what I was saying here, this is where when we look at let's look at the Debo Fourier dynamic from last season.
Mm-hmm.
There's two different mentalities that you can have, and this is the mentality that we have. Statistically, Fourier had the better year. Dion had a good year too, but Fourier just had a better year. You see, you can give accolades to somebody without having to put down another player that really didn't have a bad year. But
Mm-hmm.
then you have the popular narrative of well, Fourier had this great year and Dion had this trash ass season. So it's like, is it the glass half full, glass half empty conversation?
Mm-hmm.
What? But let's get a couple more of these comments in here. Colin, you still ain't shit for that Assassin's Creed damn comment, but we could. But D comes here said, I don't need Grady to have an Aaron Donald season, but one sack is not acceptable at his salary. He's got to get that production up. And we've said
I
that
hate
plenty of
that
times.
comment. I hate that with a passion. I hate it because of one word right there. It's one word. It's
Hold on.
one word in there that really pisses me off.
Hold on, let me see. I don't need to have an Aaron Donald season. Let me see. Let me see if I can probably think what you're saying. Which word I'm trying. I'm gonna give three guesses on the word you talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And knowing your ass is probably gonna be one I least expect because we've already said one sack is not acceptable at his
Mm-hmm.
salary. Let me see. So my guess, one of my first guess would be at that word, well, that phrase. At I know because you said that before.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald season.
I talk about this all the time. I talk about it all the time. Stop comparing people to other people. He's
Mm-hmm.
never going to be Aaron Donald.
Right.
He doesn't have what Aaron Donald has.
Right.
Okay, so when we downgrade players because of like
Right.
Aaron Donald is perhaps the greatest defensive lineman of all time, arguably the greatest of all time,
Mm-hmm.
arguably. And we're trying to compare Grady Jarrett to a guy that's arguably the
Right.
greatest of all time. That's a huge problem for me. Stop trying to compare, and it goes back to what I was saying about guys looking at Trey Young or looking at Steph Curry for what they are. They're never going to be LeBron. They're never going to be able to play great defense because they're not great defenders. So
Mm-hmm.
why would we expect Grady Jarrett? Grady Jarrett is a hustle defensive tackle. All right, he hustles. He gets tackles for losses. He's incredibly quick. He's incredibly quick at a guy his size. He's never going to be Aaron Donald. So when we lower his value because he's not doing what Aaron Donald is doing, it really pisses me off. He's
Mm-hmm.
not Aaron Donald. Stop trying to compare him. And this is why you got to put guys next to him to highlight their skill set.
Yeah.
This is why we were so upset. Me personally, I was so upset when we didn't bring back Rasheed Hateman, Dontari Poe, because that would have been a perfect yin and yang for Grady Jarrett.
Mm-hmm. And yes, the one sack, yeah, like I said, the one sack definitely is not acceptable. And we've said this plenty of times. It's not that he can't get back there, it's sometimes he just don't finish.
Mm-hmm.
But when we talk, but you said something interesting here as far as the Aaron Donald, the Grady Jarrett comparison. I hope everybody realize these two guys are built completely different.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald is a fucking cyborg. Have
Yeah.
y'all paid attention to how he built? Grady ain't built like that.
Ain't too many guys in there.
He ain't built like that. They the same height. Grady may be a little bit bigger on the poundage,
Look,
but Aaron Donald is built like a fucking
he
cyborg.
got people. Aaron Donald got people around him that's going to help him have those one-on-ones. Okay, one sack isn't the same. All right, Grady had to work hard as hell to get that one sack. Aaron Donald don't have to go through three people to get that one sack. You see what I mean by that? This is why
Right,
this is where when we talk about player comparisons, where it
right.
gets irritating for me because you looking at guys that, like I said, you got guys. Grady Jarrett has to go. Do we have to play that? Do we really have to play that voiceover again? Damn,
Oh, I ain't gonna.
y'all
You ain't gotta play that shit.
damn, y'all ain't got to guard nobody else. Why would he be saying that? That's the stuff that I'm talking about. If you have a defensive lineman saying, "Damn, y'all ain't got to guard nobody else," that tells you everything that you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron Donald, like Grady Jarrett, having getting having one sack, that's more difficult than Aaron Donald having to get his one sack. Because Aaron Donald ain't got to do as much as Grady Jarrett does. He got more one-on-one opportunities. He has quality players around him.
Right.
We don't have those quality players around us.
Right.
Leonard
Oh,
Floyd, who, like Leonard Floyd, Ashawn Robinson, these guys some big time players. Okay, we don't have an Ashawn Robinson in the middle of our defense.
mm. I mean, like you said, you would average a possible 15 with 10 to 15 sacks if you had Michael Brockers
Mm-hmm.
and Dominican Sue, Leonard Floyd, Ashawn Robinson, Von Miller
I'm just saying.
around
That
you as
help.
well. It doesn't take away from what Aaron Donald had done. But what you did was you put players around him to where he can succeed at a better rate. Now let me
Mm-hmm.
ask you. Now let me ask y'all a question here. Let me ask you a question here. Would you compare? Would you rather have as a defensive end? I want y'all to have a defensive end, a defensive lineman mindset as far as like a Grady J. I want y'all to put your mindsets where Grady is at.
Mm-hmm.
Would you have rather played alongside of Michael Brockers and Dominican Sue, Ashawn Robinson, Leonard Floyd? Hey, remember, this is the same defense that got Dante Fowler paid for getting 11 and a half sacks.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think you would be more successful with an Ndamukong Suh, Michael Brockers, Ashawn Robinson?
Mm-hmm.
Or you feel like Grady should have had that same type of success with Dante Fowler, Tyler Davidson, Stephen Means, Tat McKinley, Alan Bailey?
Ugh.
While we doing that,
Cue it.
we're gonna be waiting on some answers on that.
Yeah, cue it. Just want to know.
So do you feel like if Grady
No.
so
All right, bro.
if you feel like Grady Jarrett would have had those kind of complementary pieces, would he at least be a guy that has 6 to 10 sacks a season?
I just thought about something.
What's
When
up?
we had those pieces, we were in the Super Bowl. When we had those pieces, we were in the Super Bowl. What happened in the Super Bowl, people?
Grady Jarrett was 1-on-1, baby. And if the Falcons would have won the Super Bowl, he probably would have won MVP.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let Grady Jarrett have those one-on-ones.
Yes, 2019, he had 7.5 sacks. But guess what? Vic Beasley had 8. Tat gave you a little bit of 4 here.
Mm-hmm.
You still had other types of pieces where it was like you didn't still have a lot of sacks like that, but you still had enough pieces. Who was on that 2009? All right. All right, okay. We're gonna hit the pause, and I'm gonna let you talk. Let me do a little bit of research right quick. Go ahead, Mike. I'm about to say, damn that second topic. Hold on, I wanna see this right quick.
We're talking about a guy like we did not have. Okay, the guy that we thought would be that help and alleviate that type of that pressure around Grady. The guy did absolutely nothing. He couldn't stay healthy. So Dante Fowler was absolutely worthless. Worthless. You gave him $40 million to be absolutely worthless. So with that being said, that you have, a guy and pieces. The Falcons didn't have that for Grady Jarrett. Like you said, we had um, we had to pick up Anthony Rush off the fucking like he wasn't even playing in the league, bro. This dude came out of the damn played with the Falcons and he came right off the damn street and started for the Falcons. Just think about that for a second. He didn't even play for a team and he automatically started for the Falcons. That's the stuff we talking about. Yes, sir.
I just did some mathematics here. Grady Jarrett's two best sack seasons was 2018 and 19 with a combined 13 and a half sacks.
Mm-hmm.
The team had 56 sacks in those 2 years combined.
56 combined. So that's a low 30s. About
had 37. 37. The team had 37 in 2018 and 28 in 2019. And the sack number started dipping as soon as who got there?
Who?
Route 96. The sack numbers went for the entire team since.
What did that tell you? What does that tell you?
Yeah, because Grady Jarrett had 7.5 sacks in 2019. Vic Beasley had 8. Tack had 3.5. Adrian Claiborne had 4. Devondre Campbell had 2. Well, surprisingly, Tyler Davidson had 1 sack. Alan Bailey had 1. But then we go back to 2018. Where Grady had 6. Now, Grady is about 6'7" every year.
Yeah, he's about.
That's good. That's good. That's what you want. That's what you want average from your defensive tackles.
Mm-hmm.
He had 6 that year. Tack had 7. Vic had 5. Here's a name that we don't even talk about that often. Jack Crawford had 6 that year.
Yeah. I remember that.
Bruce Irvin, 3.5. Brian Poole, 3.
Mm-hmm.
Deion Jones, 1. Desmond Trufant, 1. Brooks Reed, 1. Terrell McClain, 1. Yeah, the only damn sack I remember Stephen Means having as a Falcon that year. But look at that defensive line. Look at the front 7 at that time. You had Jack Crawford, and like I said, as much as we talk about Vic Beasley and Tack, the situation with them was they was used incorrectly, but you have potential pass rushers there.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, Jack Crawford was a perfect guy next to him.
Mm-hmm.
This was the year after you got rid of the best partner he had, to me personally, which was Dontari Poe. But we just gonna say
they had a nice little chemistry too. They really liked each other. And
yeah.
Thomas Dimitrov.
Right. But we probably gonna do about another 5 more minutes. We're gonna talk about this. I want to get this out the way. I want to get this out the way right quick. We got about 10 more. We got about 10 more minutes. Now, I'm scrummaging around Bleacher Report. There's an article that kind of intrigued me a lot. It was the redrafting of last year's draft. that said that Kyle
Oh,
Pitts wasn't even worth a top 10 draft pick based on how he played last season. And that it should have been Michael Parsons. Now, in an alternate universe, I can see that. I mean, where they're basing the Kyle Pitts thing off, they're basing it on Jamar Chase. Am I correct? They usually basing Kyle Pitts season off of Jamar Chase, right?
I would think so.
Mm-hmm. The reason why I'm saying this because this is essentially is what has been going on this whole conversation we done had in tonight's stream about having the guys around you to help you succeed. Am I correct?
Mm-hmm.
Jamar Chase had to deal with T. Higgins, CJ Uzomah, Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd.
What's the tight end?
Yeah, it was CJ Uzomah. That's the one I'm talking about.
Okay.
So you got guys that are established guys that don't have to put the pressure on Jamar Chase. Hell of a season though. Like I said, I'm not taking that away from him at all. But you could say the same thing about Michael Parsons.
Mm-hmm.
You still got Randy Gregory there. You still got DeMarcus Lawrence there. You still got Leighton Vander Esch, whatever if he stayed damn healthy. You essentially got a lot of guys that complement these rookies. Now, if you compared it to Kyle Pitts, I want y'all to pay attention. I want y'all to West Falcon fans, we've already seen it, but look closely attention on what the hell he ended up in. Your number one running back was your second best receiver. Your best receiver outside of Kyle Pitts was your number 3 guy. Russell Gage was your best receiver outside of Kyle Pitts. And what has been the Falcon problem with the wide receivers last season was they couldn't get the ball. They couldn't get off a bump and run coverage, get off the line of scrimmage.
Mm-hmm.
So this notion that Kyle Pitts was a terrible pick, you don't have a Kyle Pitts. This may have been historically one of the worst offenses as far as skill position, I think we've ever seen. Because you don't have now, like if you literally take Kyle Pitts and you saw and let me say you saw it in the Buffalo game when Kyle Pitts got hurt in that game. Look at that offense.
Let me say something, because I'm chomping at the bit. Go ahead, finish.
No, I'm done. Go ahead, man.
You got to be the dumbest motherfucker, okay? And I'm saying it the whitest possible way I can say it. You got to be the stupidest motherfucker in the universe to say that that was a terrible pick. You are a dumb motherfucker for saying that. This record at tight ends has stayed. Not even Tony Gonzalez, not even Travis Kelce, not even Jay Novacek, Jason Witten. None of those guys broke that record or even got close to it. It was Kyle motherfucker Pitts. That motherfucker, okay? Not fucker. You. Bye. Adios. Adios.
Let's go.
But the way you said that, I was expecting a skateboard to come flying through the
Hey, look, I'm saying this for a reason because look, you got to be a dumb motherfucker to even speak that. Why am I saying that? He was literally the Buffalo game away from breaking the record. If he doesn't get hit, if he doesn't get hurt in that game, he's breaking that NFL record. And we talking about he wasn't worth the pick? Like, what's wrong with y'all? Like, sometimes you people just love to like to say this goofy stuff. Like, who says that? Why? All right, this like dumb. Why would you even say that? We up here playing with Christian Blake, and you talking about it was a waste of pick. What the hell is wrong with y'all people? We up here playing with Christian. Do anybody know what he even doing? That man probably working at a KFC or something right about now. You up here talking about it was a waste of pick.
I got big KFC. Why couldn't it be a Subway?
Wash house or goddamn a car wash or whatever. We know he fucking sucks. Okay. Man. And we up here talking about Kyle Pitts was a wasted pick. What the heck? Man.
Hold on. Look, Colin talking about stop cursing about before I get man verse. But wasn't you the one that damn near about to put that motherfucker in a choke hold or something? I know you ain't trying to call.
I mean, you trying to talk about me. It was you.
Hey, Robin Hood. You about to slap shit out of Robin Hood, ass.
But like, come on, man. Y'all talking crazy, man. Like, who comes up with that goofy? Like, why would you even write that stupid stuff? Like, I hope he get fired for saying that. I hope whoever wrote that damn dumbass article, you get fired. Like, it was the worst pick in the. Like, what's wrong with you?
Hey, look, ATL here said, I saw someone on Twitter say that it doesn't matter if the Falcons win the Super Bowl with Kyle Pitts. Justin Fields would have been the better draft pick long term. Look. Look, but look. The only thing I'm gonna say on that is, hold on, let me see. Do I got it on here?
Yeah, please.
Tell whoever that is to sit your goofy ass down.
Like, what? Come on. This man, look. Y'all seen Usain Bolt in the Olympics?
Mm-hmm.
That's gonna be his ass this year. That motherfucker gonna be running a full flat, okay? Run for them, because he ain't got no wide receiver. He ain't got no defense to save him. That's gonna be Justin Fields this year. Get ready to see that all year. He gonna be Usain Bolt running for Olympic times. I promise you that. Get ready for that, because he ain't gonna throw a damn.
You know what? Nah, man. Look, man. We just gonna go ahead. Yeah, Reggie, you came at the wrong time, man. We just about to get up off of here, and usually we'll keep in contact. We'll keep in contact on that.
Justin Fields, like,
hey, let's go ahead.
Dog like that. I hate talking about it, dog.
Let's go ahead and wind it down. Let's go ahead and wind it down, man. We're gonna go ahead and wind it down the right way, man. We're gonna wind it down. And you know how we always got to do it. We got to tell everybody that we definitely appreciate you tuning in to Cooler Talk Monday with your boys over here, giving you all that we can give you. Hopefully we entertained you on this 4th of July day. Personally, me, I don't give a shit about it, but it's just a good day to be off of work. Just another vacation day for me. But want y'all to go ahead and like, share, comment, subscribe to not only Mad Mike Sports, Jew Talk Sports, Atlanta Falcon Nation, but your man 6-Man K Styles, man. The 1K goal is almost there, man. This is the final stretch before the season start, man. This is where I wanted to be at. We got other things popping up here as well.
Oh, yeah.
Want y'all to go ahead and hit the subscribe for the Heavy Hitters channel. We got that coming up here soon. Pop, pop. Man, Mike got a second channel there. He wants y'all to go ahead and push out there as well. Mad Mike Network. And tune in tomorrow for the 6-Man Convo with your boy 6-Man K Styles, as you already know what it is. So be on the lookout. And whoever's giving me the drums in the background, we appreciate the aesthetics.
Right.
So y'all be on the lookout for the 6-Man Convo. Like I said, y'all make sure y'all go ahead and subscribe to 6-Man K Styles.
Oh my God. I didn't try to do that, man. That came out of nowhere.
Man, a rolling ring of fire, and it burns.
Oh shit.
But
oh man.
As we always say here, man, until next time, people, we ain't here to play. We here to stay.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't got to go home.
No, no.
Well, what, Mike?
You gotta get the hell up out of.
And if you don't like that, we got some words for you if you don't like that. And I'm going to let my main man close it out as he normally do. Go ahead, Jimmy. Tell them what they can do.
And if you don't like it, you can just pass the blunt to the nigga on your left.
Deuces.